Listen to this number that just shook the entire global auto industry. A Chinese SUV claimed the top spot on Britain's monthly sales chart, knocking the long-dominant Ford Puma down to second place. Chery's JAECOO7 hit 10,064 registrations in a single month, making British automotive history. But this is just the tip of the iceberg. In the same month, Chinese brand market share in the UK new car market doubled from 7.4% to 15% year over year. Adding Chinese-controlled Volvo and Lotus, total Chinese-linked share surged to 20%. The chief customer officer at Autotrader, Britain's largest online car platform, openly admitted, this kind of growth pace has never been seen in the British auto market. The question everyone is asking, how did Chinese automakers pull this off in such a short time frame? From a Singapore observer's perspective, let's break down what's really happening. The first key variable is the British government's stance. Britain charges only 10% standard import tariff on Chinese new energy vehicles. To put this in context, this makes Britain a tariff oasis in Europe, far below the EU's combined rate of roughly 45.3%. British Business Secretary Peter Kyle stated clearly, he doesn't want to block consumers from choosing the cars they want. He's more focused on the jobs and industrial opportunities Chinese investment brings. He even compared current Chinese automaker entry to Japanese automaker investment in Britain during the 1990s, calling it an industrial upgrade opportunity. This open approach has real backing. The British government announced a £700 million electric vehicle industry support plan. £380 million of that goes specifically to supporting Tata Group's Gigafactory project in Somerset. The government's logic is clear. Rather than building walls, attract investment and use industrial funds to keep more value chain at home while accelerating domestic electrification. Second variable is the struggle facing British and international brands themselves. How difficult is Jaguar Land Rover's transformation? Jaguar completed its full UK electric transition. Sales fell far short of expectations. Land Rover's electrification has lagged badly, with internal combustion still making up over 95% at the start of the year. Even worse, Jaguar Land Rover's retail volume in China dropped sharply, putting global performance under pressure. To survive, their joint venture with Chery completely halted internal combustion production, launching an independent electric brand to find a way out. What about international brands? Tesla's UK sales grew 20% year over year to 8,599 units, but that growth rate falls far behind Chinese brands. More critically, combined registrations of BYD and Chery in Britain have already surpassed traditional leader Volkswagen. Data from the British Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders shows that while electrified vehicle share crossed 50% for the first time, pure battery electric share was only 22.6%, far below the government's annual target of 33%. This massive supply gap is exactly the market space Chinese brands are filling at speed. The third variable is Chinese product strategy. Chinese playbook can be summed up in 8 words. Leverage tariff advantage. Attack market pain points hard. Benefiting from the 10% tariff, Chinese vehicles enjoy significant pricing advantage in Britain compared to the EU market. They universally adopt a low-price, high-spec strategy, using more advanced driver assistance, longer pure electric range, and richer features to attack same-priced traditional brand vehicles. For example, the Chery and Jaguar Land Rover joint venture's new brand Freelander comes standard with Huawei's advanced driver assistance system across the entire lineup. The technical configuration jumps a tier above competitors. What's even smarter is product definition. Targeting Europe's insufficient charging infrastructure, Chinese automakers focus on plug-in hybrids with around 50 miles, roughly 80 kilometers, of pure electric range. British auto experts point out this format satisfies daily short-distance pure electric driving for British families, while relying on the gasoline engine for long-distance needs. This single insight drove a clear recovery in Britain's plug-in hybrid market. The numbers tell the story even more clearly. Britain's average electric vehicle price, including subsidies, came in at £42,620, falling below internal combustion vehicles at £43,405 for the first time. The Chinese price-performance strategy played a major role in this shift. The fourth and most critical variable, Chinese automakers' localization strategy. Chinese automakers are now looking far beyond current sales. Their focus is how to take root in Britain. Chery is the textbook example, pursuing a dual-track approach, Trank 1, using idle capacity. Chery has reached an agreement with Jaguar Land Rover to use their underutilized British factories for electric vehicle production, Trank 2, capacity sharing negotiations. Chery is in talks with Nissan to explore production at their Sunderland plant in Britain, where current capacity utilization runs at only 50%. What's the advantage of this asset-light model? It enables low-cost, low-risk, rapid localization. It avoids potential long-term trade risks, and it positions Chinese brands closer to the market. Key here is an even deeper layer. Chinese automakers' technical strengths in batteries and electric drives perfectly fill gaps in British supply chains. A large portion of that £700 million industrial fund targets supply chain upgrades and worker training. Through investment and partnerships, Chinese automakers are actively embedding themselves in this support system, transforming from outsiders into local contributors. When you combine all four dimensions, truth becomes crystal clear. Chinese automakers' UK success is far from a simple price war. It's the result of strategy, product, and policy environment hitting maximum resonance in a specific window of time. For Britain, this is a pragmatic choice during a period when their auto industry is shrinking and electrification is stalled. Bringing in fresh outside competition, stimulating the market, and filling supply chain gaps. The government cares about long-term gains in investment, jobs, and industrial upgrading. For Chinese automakers, Britain is the perfect springboard for breaking into the European market. Low tariffs provide price moat. Market gaps provide growth space. Open investment policy lowers entry barriers. Through the combination of price-performance entry and localized partnership routing, they're replicating the path Japanese automakers took in Europe decades ago. But this mutual courtship has variables. Britain's electrification timeline has already drifted off plan due to cost issues, creating future policy uncertainty. Domestic battery capacity and charging infrastructure remain weak points. If Britain follows the EU and adjusts tariffs in the future, Chinese automakers' cost advantage gets eroded. But at least for now, the British market, through its unique openness, has given Chinese new energy vehicles a vivid practical lesson in globalization. At the crossroads of industrial transformation, openness and cooperation may win the future more effectively than protection and isolation. So what do you think about Chinese automakers' rise in Britain? Can this momentum continue? Will the EU adjust its China policy in response? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If you found this analysis valuable, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.